the Studio Cuts podcast with Taylor with WRRV.
This is the Studio Cuts podcast. Hey, it's Taylor from 92.7, 96.9 WRRV, and the Studio Cuts podcast is where we interview artists that were featured on Sunday Studio Cuts, our new music show on WRRV. Today, we're hanging out with the band CAMINO, who just released their new song, One Last Cigarette. Where are you guys right now?
Right now, we are in Nashville, Tennessee at a rehearsal space here, and we are just working on new music for the day and running songs down.
What is it like down in Nashville right now? Because we're up in New York.
It's not bad. The weather has been super nice. Spring is in the air. It's like 70 degrees today, so it's getting warm. The sun is shining. COVID's still out and about, but as far as the weather and the vibes, they're pretty good. So they're good.
Well, that's always good to hear. Is 2021 seeming more hopeful than 2020 as it goes on?
Most definitely. We're scheming over here, trying to figure out what the next step is. But we've got some good things in place.
I'm excited to hear about that. A couple of years ago, some fans bought you guys a billboard. What happened with that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was for our Try Hard
2019
release, which was like an 8-song EP kind of thing. So they surprised us. We had a show in New York, and they surprised us with a billboard in Times Square. And the fans like literally all got together and paid for it themselves, which was insane.
That's wild. Were you able to see it in person then?
We saw it in person.
It was a surprise.
The fans reached out to our manager, Jameson, and so they had basically arranged like us to like Jameson kind of like finagled it to where we were in Times Square and met up with the fans, and they were like, "Hey, we have a surprise for you." He was like, "Hey," we had like an interview that day, so it kind of timed out perfectly. Where it's like, "Hey, we need to walk this way a couple blocks for like another interview," and we were just kind of like, "Okay, cool. I guess we have another interview or something like that." So we walked down. He's like, right before we walk up, he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to blow the surprise, but the fans, you're about to meet some fans. They have a surprise for you. It's right around the corner." And so we like walk around the corner, and a few fans right there, and they're like, "Hey, we got together. We bought you this billboard." And then like next thing you know, it's like flashing on the screen. I'm like, "What the heck? This is insane." It was cool.
Back in December, you guys released 2 new singles. The first called Roses. Can you tell us a little bit about that, especially being your first release during the pandemic?
Roses we wrote actually before the pandemic started, and the song kind of stuck with us for a long time. It was like, we have a lot of sad songs. We've kind of been known to be a sad boy band, emotional sad songs, but the song was different. It was hopeful, it was positive, and we wrote it before the world went crazy. But as we had it, it kind of started meaning more and more, and we were like, this is it's a cool time to put out this song, and it felt different enough from the stuff we put out to like kind of initiate a new era of the record we've been working on, but it still felt like reminiscent of our sound that we've kind of been building and forming over the years. So
the other single you dropped was a collab with Chelsea Cutler called Crying Over You. What was it like working with her?
Oh, she's the coolest. She came down to Nashville for I guess like a week or so, and we had the chance to write with her and kind of get to know her. But she's amazing. She's super talented and great hand.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's so cool. We've been listening to her music for so long too, and so like she basically posted some of our songs on her Instagram story, like I don't know, like maybe like a year ago or something like that. And so we were like, "Oh my God, Chelsea Cutler listens to us. This is sick." So we sent her a DM, and I think she responded or something like that. And then we tweeted something like, I think someone tweeted like, we need a Band CAMINO Chelsea Cutler collab. And so then we like tweeted at Chelsea and we're like, "What do you think?" And she like tweeted us back. We were kind of joking on the internet, and then ended up getting together, meeting her, and then Crying Over You happened. And it was just like a cool moment. We've been such a fan of her, so it was cool to get to put out a song with her.
And your newest song, One Last Cigarette, is the follow-up to Roses. What is the song about?
It's about a long night. It's about waking up after. It's sort of lighthearted, but it's got some deeper themes. But it's really mostly just about. I'm not going to say it's autobiographical, but I have been known to lose things after long nights of doing some things maybe I I shouldn't have been doing a little later than I should have been staying up. But it's really, we're a rock band, and we like to play really loud songs, and we had this one in mind specifically whenever live shows get to happen again, and we're really excited to play it live and play it really loud.
Yeah, it was cool to follow Roses up with like a darker song too, just to kind of keep people guessing. And as far as a more up-tempo, guitar-driven song as well, because obviously when Spencer wrote that song like right before we went into the studio, it was kind of a last-minute addition to the record we've been working on. And so as soon as we heard it, we were like, "Oh my God, that's going to be so sick live." So it's kind of been like we've had playing it live in mind since the demo, the inception of the demo. But stoked to eventually play it live.
The video for the new song shows the like during and aftermath of this wild night. What was it like filming that?
It was a lot of fun because it was all of the actors are actually just our friends. We invited a bunch of our friends to come be a part of it, so it kind of just felt like a regular, maybe not a regular night, but it was it didn't feel foreign.
Yeah, it was like the exact people. It was a lot of the exact people that we would be hanging out with at a night out anyway, and just with a lot of cameras around, and we literally the camera crew and the whole production team built that entire like room and house set like out of nothing. So it was like in the middle of this warehouse, just this big set fake room, and then we just were in there just goofing around and dancing and going crazy. So it was honestly like one of the easiest things that we've ever filmed, and it turned out so sick. Our Patrick Tracy is the guy who's been doing all of our music videos, and he's a legend.
Speaking of kind of goofing around, you guys have called yourselves your mom's favorite band. How did this title come about?
That just came up. We were talking about that earlier today. We made that our Spotify bio. Like when the first time we ever put anything on Spotify was April of 2016. So it's been almost 5 years. And we were like, what should we put here? And someone was just like, let's put your mom's favorite band. And then we haven't really thought about it since. And literally today, one of our friends was like, dude, your mom's favorite band is your Spotify thing. And we were like, we forgot that was even there. It's been there for so long. Like, we should probably eventually put a real biography and, like, you know,
put something about ourselves.
Put something about ourselves, informative and educational. Like, hey, here's who we are. This is what we do. But honestly, your mom's favorite band, I think,
sums it up pretty well.
Sums it up so far. That's what we aspire to be.
Speaking of bios, your Twitter bio right now is a phone number. What is this number to?
Text us. It's our phone number, our band phone number. We can reply. We've been sending out just different kind of informational text, like updates to fans. It's kind of a cool way to communicate with people. So the phone number is on our Instagram bio, Twitter bio. Text us. We've been texting people back like randomly throughout the day, but obviously we can't get to all of them. And then we just used it too for updates and like, hey, like, here's what's going on. Here's a new single. Like, if you text the number, we'll send you like a link to pre-save, that kind of stuff. So
I won't even lie to you. I dialed the number before this interview, and I'm like, oh no, what if they pick up?
That'd been hilarious.
When can we expect a new album from you guys?
We don't have a date right now, but we are working on it. Obviously, the first 2 songs from the album are out. We're going to continue finishing singles as we finish them. We are almost done mixing all the songs. So like, it's kind of like, we're at the finish line of finishing the record. It's been a process. It's a lot of songs, and it's been a huge project. But soon, singles will be, the single process has started, and, you know, we will be continuing to put out singles until the whole record drops. So in the coming months, be looking for the date.
Ooh, definitely going to look out for that. You guys sold out your 2019 tour. What was that feeling like?
There's no other feeling like it in the world. It's the craziest thing that's ever happened to us, I think, so far. Well, in band-wise, I think.
It's pretty unreal to, you know, this is Garrison, by the way. I joined the band 2 years ago, and almost 3. Wow, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Starting in the van when I first met them to selling out, you know, 2,000 cap rooms all over the United States, and it's a pretty crazy feeling, just knowing that all those people are out there listening but are engaged enough to want to come and hang out with us for an evening, and hear our songs live. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah, there's no feeling like one of our shows. I mean, especially for us, obviously, because everyone there is ready to hear every song and knows every word to every song, and just like there's magic in the air. And we built our band off of playing live before we had music out, before we had any kind of like following on social media or Spotify. We've always been able to play shows, and that was kind of what we built the whole entire thing around. So like we've kind of like, in a way, I feel like reverse engineered it from certain acts who've, a lot of bands have following online or on Spotify, and then they start touring because they have that. We were just like always like, when we started in Memphis, just playing tons of local gigs, regional shows, moved to Nashville, met Garrison. I've just been touring as much as we can always, and just kind of have that like organic live following that's just like different than what you can see on the internet. So it's really something I feel like you can't even describe unless you see it in person. And we really miss doing it.
So like you just said, you really miss doing it. You really want to play One Last Cigarette live. Are there any
Absolutely.
plans for tours this year if it's safe?
Well, I guess that's more of a question for Joe Biden, but we're hoping. We don't really know. Like, we have we keep like booking tours like way out in advance just in case the world opens up. So like we have dates held for, we have like so many different dates held for like when it could be possible. Like, a lot of people are saying that shows could be back this fall. A lot of people are saying it could be the spring. I mean, as soon as it's safe and, hopefully with the vaccine and everything that's going on, that's sooner than later, we're going to be back on the road nonstop. So
my last question for you, if someone were to come to your city, what is the one thing they absolutely need to do?
That's a good question.
It's a really good question. So me and Spencer are from Memphis, born and raised in Memphis, and we've lived in Nashville for almost 3 years, I guess now, since we met Garrison. So I feel like truly my city is Memphis. And basically, if you were going to go there, I would tell you to eat. It's the fattest city in the U.S. And U.S. is the fattest country in the world, so it would technically be the fattest city in the world. So I would say get some barbecue. Go to Huey's restaurant. It's where I used to work, and it's like the best burger in the world. And just go like down to Beale Street and listen to blues music and get a giant beer. You guys have anything for Nashville, though? It's a question.
Top golf.
Top golf. We're terrible at golf. Spencer's not bad.
No, I'm pretty bad. I'm bad.
Yeah, we have hot chicken here. We got a lot of food, but hot chicken's kind of the thing. So, hit up Patty B's, Prince's. There's a bunch of spots, but you can't go wrong if you like spicy food.
You can go to Percy Priest Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Jump off some cliffs.
Yeah, there's a lot of good outdoorsy like water here. There's like rivers and outdoorsy waters, like creeks and lakes and stuff. Like, if you're into that, there's like a lot of cool hiking and stuff in Nashville. So catch your hike, it's your waterfall.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me and the Studio Cuts podcast.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for having us.
Make sure to check out One Last Cigarette by the band Camino and watch out for when they announce a new album. And don't forget to catch Sunday Studio Cuts, a new music show featuring all of the up-and-coming alternative music hosted by me every Sunday at 10 p.m. on 92.7, 96.9 WRRV. Join us next week as we interview another up-and-coming alternative artist on the Studio Cuts podcast.